My neighbor keeps unreasonably calling the police to my apartment, falsely claiming that there's DV in my home. I moved into a new apartment and my neighbor has consistently called the police to my apartment almost every weekend. This has occurred at least 6 times in the middle of the day, stating there is a domestic violence problem when there's nothing genuinely wrong. My boyfriend and I lived together for 3 years at an apartment 3 blocks away until moving here, sharing walls with 3 neighbors every year, and never had any issues with neighbors. That complex even had a group chat where we asked people to turn their music down and never got told to talk quieter or anything. Essentially, the difference to my new apartment is apparently much thinner floors and a nosy neighbor. We've made it clear to the police and our neighbor, who eavesdrops on the conversations we've had with police from below my balcony, that there is no domestic violence issue. We've never had problems like this with complaints before. We've been together for 6 years and often talk at our natural volumes when going about life, such as debating the best place to live in Colorado. We need some place to live and have actively made an effort to be mindful of the downstairs neighbors. In any case, I don't believe we were ever being unacceptably loud. We've made an effort by playing brown noise constantly so that we don't have to actively worry about talking at a natural volume in the middle of the day on the weekend, which seemed to help somewhat, but calls were still made. However, that gave me migraines after a few weeks. We've kept the brown noise at a lower volume now for the past few weeks and laid down carpets. I'm alone all week when my BF is away for work and am mostly silent during the week, and a good neighbor in every way I can think of. We've been told we aren't breaking any laws or violating any ordinances. We were also told they never have to speak with her, so she doesn't have to deal with any of this when she calls every other week. We've been told that the only course of action is to move, which they said is unreasonable, or take the neighbor to civil court. My issue is the cops showing up to my door to tear us down essentially by trying to investigate us for DV and any other accusations or personal opinions extremely frequently, causing me distress and affecting my mental health. And with that, essentially the only way to prevent my neighbor from having the ability to harass us by calling the police claiming DV without having any evidence of DV is by taking her to civil court and taking legal actions. I'm just asking for any opinions on this.
We have noisy upstairs neighbors, and I've made the situation worse. My partner and I moved into an apartment 3 months ago, and the first weekend, we were the woman who lives upstairs had a huge screaming argument with her boyfriend until 2 a.m. on a Sunday night. We could hear every word, and it was horrible. After that, every weekend, he would come over and be extremely loud, shouting, until 2/3 a.m. every night, but not always arguing. It's so loud that me and my boyfriend can't hear our TV. Our evenings are soundtracked by him shouting. Last month, they had an argument again on Sunday until 2 a.m. with lots of swearing, name-calling, aggressive behavior. He even made her leave her own flat. Then it picked up again on Monday morning. And again the evening. And again on Tuesday evening. Always into the early hours. To be honest, I was too scared to confront them in person. Hearing a man tell his girlfriend to F*** off and calling her AC** was really disturbing, and I didn't want to come face to face with a man like that. I wanted to talk to her alone, but on day 3 of the arguing, I didn't know when he was ever going to leave. I wrote a note that asked them to keep it down and noted the times we heard them shouting. It was quite firm, but I didn't mean for it to be rude or aggressive. I was just fed up of them arguing for days on end. A month later, they're still up till the early hours shouting and whooping, yelling and cheering. I'm not proud of it, but I finally knocked the ceiling when they were shouting at 12:30 a.m. They responded by stomping and then throwing heavy things on the floor. My boyfriend went to speak to them, and they were very aggressive. Very angry about the note. And she said that as she owns her apartment and we just rent, we can just leave if we don't like the noise. The man was weirdly defensive about not being abusive, even though we've never suggested that. The man tried to clear the air with my boyfriend, but basically said they're not going to stop being loud on the weekend. He admitted that they are loud and that they like to stay up late. He did apologize for the screaming argument. Then that night they were up until 3:30 a.m. Obviously, they can stay up all night if they want, but I think past 11 p.m. they should use inside voices. We've been putting white noise on to try to drown them out, but it's really exhausting. I know I didn't go about things the right way by knocking. I stand by the note even though it wasn't received well, and now I feel like the situation is tense.
My wife and I were very fortunate and bought our first home a few months ago. The house isn't perfect, but it got us out of our small apartment, and it's a dream we thought we would never attain. It's in a small city we love, and most of our neighbors are kind people who keep to themselves and just want to get through the day. Except for this one older lady, I'd say roughly 70s. For some context, I am disabled, and we do not have a driveway. Most houses in our city don't. We knew this when we moved, but the previous owner had 2 cars and had no problems with parking. My wife and I only have 1 car, so it shouldn't have been a problem. We noticed one neighbor park in front of our house. No big deal, but we talked with them and asked that, if they can avoid it, to not park in front of our house, and explained that I need a cane to walk. They have been great, and have done everything they can to give us space. They still park in front of our house from time to time, but they make an effort. Obviously, they don't have to do that. It's public parking, and we know that, but it is greatly appreciated that they do. Our other neighbor, however, basically told us to pound sand. Now, we know we can't prevent them from parking there, but they have a driveway that they just don't use, and instead park just close enough to our other neighbor's car to ensure there isn't enough space for us to park. At this point, being that she's been rude to us, we decided to just avoid her and attempt to find another solution. We noticed several other cars on our street park on the sidewalk, so we figured we could do the same. She comes outside, says, "You can get a ticket for that," and then proceeds to call the police in an attempt to get us a ticket. I try and ask the officer for solutions. He gives none. I ask about the other cars parked on the sidewalk. He says he's not going to do anything about them. Fine, we move off the sidewalk. We start parking behind her car. It's a bit more of a walk for me, but I can usually manage if I'm having a good pain day. Today, my wife is parking behind her car, and she comes outside to walk her dog and says, "You're blocking the driveway." There's maybe 2 of her car in front of this driveway that they don't use, and still more than enough space to pull into it if they used it. My wife doesn't say anything, rolls her eyes, and goes to park down the hill. This lady then yells out, "I'm not the one, sweetie." Mind you, all that needs to be done to fix this issue is for her car to move to her driveway, or even move up or back just a little to give us room. I mean, what can we even do here? We aren't loud or obnoxious. We don't play loud music, have parties, nothing. My wife and I play video games together with headsets on, read books on the back deck, and take care of our front garden that was neglected by the previous owner. The only thing we've done that could upset someone is we gave some homemade jam to one of the good neighbors after she called the cops. We understand we aren't entitled to the street parking, but she's just purposefully making things difficult, but not giving us enough space to park. I'd understand being rude to us if we did something, but we just moved in and have barely spoken 20 words to her. Is she being this way just to be this way? It's just been getting really frustrating. I mostly just wanted to rant, maybe hear any advice if there is some? I doubt it, but yeah, thanks for reading.